Hello, welcome to our continuation of auditing the purchasing process. We're now going to discuss auditing AP and accrued expenses. This is typically a job that would be completed as a staff auditor. We again start with our assertions. Remember, these are management's assertions. So management has these assertions such as existence, so we want to make sure that the items recorded truly exist, that the company does have the rights and obligations to those, and completeness, valuation, and allocation. So now what we're going to do is talk about the presentation and disclosure. So for occurrence and rights and obligations, we want to make sure that all events relating to accounts payable have occurred, so that's the main thing we're checking here, and that they pertain to the entity. Then what we're looking at is for completeness. Again, this is where our reasonableness checks come in. And that we want to make sure everything is there that needs to be there. Then we're talking about classification and understandability, and in this we're looking at financial information that relates to AP and accrued expenses that is presented, it's disclosed, and is clearly expressed. And lastly, as we relate to accuracy and valuation, we just want to make sure that all the information around AP and accrued expenses is correct in the proper amounts, fairly disclosed, so that an informed person can make a decision on the financial statements. So now we're going to shift our focus to the substantiated analytical procedures that are done. So possibly misstated, it's whether it's over or under statement of the liabilities is what we're looking at, or the purchase returns. And then some of the procedures that we do are these analytical procedures that relate to maybe comparing the payables, turnover, and days outstanding. So this relates to our ratio analysis when we're analyzing the financial statements. Then we want to compare balances from prior years. So this is more of our variance analysis. Then we want to compare amounts from the vendors to prior years. So this is more of a test of details of the actual vendors. And then we want to compare our returns and allowances as a percentage of revenue and compare that to industry data. So the last one is usually where I start when I audit. So I'm going from industry data to then the turnover ratios to the year-end balances and then to the vendors. So I go from like bigger picture to the granular vendor account. Now, accounts payable confirmations, different from AR. We don't really use them as much. We use mostly AR confirms, but not for AP. So the best way is then if you are going to use them, they're usually positive. So we kind of leave them blank and let the vendor give us the information, and then you might want to compare that confirm to the vendor statement. And that concludes our lecture on AP, auditing AP and accrued expenses.